Hi, I'm James Wilkinson and I've been a travel editor for over 20 years. On this show, we're going to take you to some of the world's most amazing destinations, from the big cities to the great regional areas. We'll go inside some of the world's best hotels, bars, restaurants, galleries, and much more. Right now, we're in Hobart, Tasmania, and this is Wayfarer. Well, Lisa, we're here on the waterfront in Hobart, and you take tours around here every day. Tell us a bit about what we should do in the area.
We do. We take tours mainly around the waterfront area. It's where a huge part of our history is. We have some fantastic heritage warehouses that are a must-see in this part of the city. We have the great fishing boats and a lovely view of the city and lots of historic information around here.
Now, you've got some great markets down here as well, very popular. What are some of your favourite things to find at the markets?
Oh, the Salamanca Markets is a great place if you're looking for any gifts, souvenirs to take home to people. There's some really fantastic tastings to do there as well. It's a great place to go and spend a few hours walking around and seeing what you can find.
There's some more great things to do around Hobart as well, even showing us some quirky things like the oldest cemetery in Tasmania.
Yes, the cemetery is one that a lot of people definitely do not know about. We have some very strange bits of our history as well, but lots of them that once you find them, it definitely changes your view on the city.
And especially down here, like you said, a lot of the warehouses, the architecture is rather interesting, isn't it?
It is. We have quite a big range of different types of architecture, particularly a large amount of Georgian style properties. They're very strong and have lasted time and weather down here on the waterfront.
And Lisa, you take tours every day of the week. What kind of tours do you? Are they small groups? Are they bigger groups? How do you do it?
We do. We take a range of different tours. Depending on the day, depends on what tours are operating. We do love to keep our group sizes small, so our maximum will be 8. Makes it very easy to walk around the city for everyone to enjoy the history and information.
And very easy to meet people at Crown Plaza and just walk out of the lobby and you're pretty much talking about architecture the whole way down to Salamanca.
Definitely. There's a lot of information leaving from the Crown and walking in really any direction around the city. But yes, very close walk to Salamanca.
Wonderful. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Well, we're here at Sullivan's Cove Distillery outside Hobart, and on many occasions has won the best whiskey in the world. I'm here with the master distiller, Heather. And Heather, tell us about this incredible product that you produce.
We're making Tasmanian single malt, Australian single malt. It's based in Tassie, of course. So it's all malted barley, 100% malted barley, locally grown. We have a pot still here. We like to call her Myrtle. So we double distill the wash that's fermented from this Tasmanian barley, put the new make into full-size casks for an extended period maturation. So we're talking like really not below 10 years. So 10 plus years, 10 to 20 something years, which is one of our features that sets us aside. We're talking long-term maturation, low and slow process the whole way.
And tell us a bit about the products. For those who don't know about your products, what are you currently making?
Our core range, all single malts. We have a double cask, which is it's a married malt of portions of a few different barrels that we put together to give a balanced and complex single malt that's expressive of our spirit and our place. And we also have a range of single cask single malts. So we're talking one barrel, one barrel at a time, never to be repeated. It's a fingerprint of nature. And we've got a couple of single cask variants in our core range. There's an American oak ex-bourbon cask, single cask. So the barrel was used for bourbon previously, and we have just put our new make spirit into it. We've got the same style but in a French oak ex-tawny cask, and tawny of course is an Australian, quite a big gutsy Australian fortified one. So those two spirits are clearly Sullivan's Cove, but as different as tawny and bourbon in many ways. We have a few variants, like we will sometimes refill casks that we've used with our own spirit. So we've got some French oak and American oak refills. We have American oak tawny, and we've got a few other variants that pop up from time to time.
It's funny, if you look at the growth of Sullivan's Cove, it's kind of mirrored the growth of whiskey around the world. We look at what's happened in Japan, we look at the explosion in America with all these distilleries opening up. So it's an exciting time for whiskey as a product, isn't it?
It is, and I mean Sullivan's Cove has some big gongs to its name as a brand and as a company. And it's been really wonderful seeing the timing of those big World Whisky Award winners coming through, and it's absolutely been part of the crest of that wave of craft distilling being outside of Scotland. Because until very recently, Scotch and whisky have been synonymous.
Absolutely.
So we're very proud and very honoured to be part of that wave that's rolling, tidally rolling throughout the entire world globally, that making people rethink what is whisky, where is it made, who makes it, and very exciting to be part of that craft boom.
It's interesting if you look at sort of the growth of it, and more people who come to Hobart realise, how good the product is, and it's very hard to get hold of sometimes though too.
It is. It's very hard. There's not much that we make, and we're not even bottling more than 20,000 bottles a year. We might release 20 or 30 casks a year, and also you have to remember that we only have to release today what was made 10 to 20 years ago. And you can't turn back the clock, right?
No.
We wish we could on many occasions, but sadly we can't. So it's a beautiful thing, and it's something that is a really bizarre problem to have, but we embrace it and are fully committed to the inbuilt inefficiencies that we have in our system that creates a beautiful liquid, and we're committed to continuing that and accepting that demand will always be there.
Now, you're not going to give us all your secrets, but is one of the secrets, is it the beautiful water down here? What's the secret to your success here?
There's a lot of secrets, and not so secrets. I think that there's a lot of parts in the process that have to happen, and have to happen well, to end up with great whisky at the other end. Certainly the Tasmanian barley really sticks out. And we have a beautiful selection of old brewing barleys that are grown in Tasmania. They're plump, juicy grains, they're full of fat, which is flavour, as we know. And we've got people who are committed, and throughout the history of Sullivan's Cove, we've had people who are committed to a low and slow approach of all the different parts, and making sure that we're led by the liquid regarding when it's ready. So we're in no rush, and I think that patience is probably a key feature. And
so it's the slow spirits movement is where it's really coming through.
I think so, yeah. Slow food, slow spirits, absolutely.
And small batch. We're down here in this part of Tassie. There's a lot of wineries doing just single vineyard wines, single barrel wine. So it isn't in that same ethos as you find in this part of Australia.
It is, yeah. Small batch, slower approach, letting the ingredients and the place and the people in those places really work together and present a wonderful, unique, authentic expression of that place and what's grown there.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having us, and look forward to trying a couple of whiskies.
Let's go.
Sounds
fantastic.
Good. Well, Dan, thanks for your time. We're here at the 40 Spotted Gin Bar in Hobart, and very appropriate. I mean, there's so many Tassie gins on the market now, and this is one of the better ones.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, there's over 50 distilleries here in Tasmania at the moment. I think we're all making gin to some extent, and it's incredibly popular. 40 Spotted has just had this beautiful new rebrand, and we have this fantastic sort of upside down bottle with these great shapes that represent the southern ocean and the currents that roll around Tasmania, and it really is distinctly Tasmanian gin.
So why has Tassie become this hive for gin? Because there are other gins around Australia, but the concentration is amazing down here.
The concentration of distilleries in Tasmania is crazy, but this is the home of the craft distillation boom. So Bill Lark, who's our founder of Lark Distilling, and Lark Distilling makes 40 Spotted, was the first person to be granted a commercial distilling licence on a small scale since 1839. So with him ushered in all the new distilleries all around the country. And so it started here in Tassie, and I think that's where the momentum really built before it came out onto the mainland.
Yeah, and what's so special about your gins?
Our gins, well, we use distinctly Tasmanian ingredients in there. So if you take this one that I'm holding here, the Tassie Bush Honey, we use Tasmanian leatherwood honey, which gives a really beautiful kind of floral note as well as the sweetness of the honey, and then it really dries out across the palate. We also use native Tasmanian pepperberries in our citrus and pepperberry and also our classic gin. So we really use things that are local and try and really push that along because we love provenance. The same here in the gin bar. All of our ingredients that we use are either native Australian or local Tasmanian ingredients in our cocktails.
Yeah. Oh, great. And what kind of cocktails would you be making with something like the Tassie Bush Honey?
Oh, the Tassie Bush Honey. So at the moment we're doing a fantastic Davidson Plum milk punch with this. So it's actually a clarified, clear, sort of tart plum ingredient that we mix with the Tassie Bush Honey gin, and it makes a really fantastic drink. We're making like a fig leaf syrup and using it with the Tassie Bush Honey, and fig and honey is a perfect combo. So things like that.
Yeah.
At home it works really well if you use it with sweetened Earl Grey tea and soda. That's my favourite thing to do at home with the Tassie Bush Honey. I absolutely love it. So
Awesome.
Tassie iced tea.
Well, thanks so much for having us.
No worries. Thanks for coming.
What I really like about this place is there's always a constant hospitality crowd in your venue, where people from other bars and restaurants or hotels, they come and eat here and they come and drink here. That's always, I guess, a great sign of what you're doing, isn't it?
It's a nice testament, I think. Yeah, it's also probably they're not coming to check that we paid our bill at their venue, but you know, it's a nice feeling because the sense of community, especially in the mid-city range now, Midtown, is massive.
And we know what Hobart's like, right? There's no shortage of amazing producers within a 30k radius. So how do you find these producers?
It's crazy. It's all just sort of run of the mill. Someone either introduce themselves. Most of the time, it's probably at your local pub. Someone's chirping off or having a bit of razz up or know someone. And yeah, especially with here, a lot of people help through vintage or help in the course of either bottling or distilling and stuff like that. So they're more than happy for you be in the process or know someone who's doing the process. Yeah. And all of a sudden you have a relationship, and then you're like, oh, okay, right, I've got something to sell, one, and I like it, and then two, it's just a building, watching the little community grow, which is good.
And this has been through a few incarnations, and you're doing very well with it right now. So it's great to see this little space continue to thrive.
Thanks. Yeah, it feels good. The venue's beautiful. I mean, the bones of it's gorgeous, and yeah, we're kicking ourselves. We're pretty blessed. So we'll just keep on trucking along. It feels good.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us.
Cheers. Very nice to meet you, mate.
Cheers.
Pleasure. Thanks.
Coming up on the next episode of Wayfarer.
You see the gates, you have no idea, and then once you come through those gates, it's kind of like a whole nother world.
The whole place is an amazing story to tell. It's an iconic hotel.
But we've been able to give this building a new sense of life.